Recorded Books presents I Can't Wait to Call You My Wife. African American Letters of Love and Family in the Civil War Era by Rita Roberts. Narrated by Robin Miles. At the end of this program, you'll find bonus audio of Rita Roberts talking about her book at the Massachusetts Historical Society. And now, I Can't Wait to Call You My Wife. Prologue. On Friday morning, April 18, 1862, 24-year-old Virginia slave John M. Washington woke up to the welcome sounds of gunfire. The Union Army was only a mile away upriver and moving steadily toward Fredericksburg, his hometown. Now it would be only a matter of time, but he had to plan his escape carefully. There could be no misstep, and no white person must suspect. A hired-out slave working at the Shakespeare Hotel as both steward and barkeep, John had to keep his employers and his widowed slave owner completely in the dark. They all must believe that he would follow their orders explicitly. One employer, now an officer for the 30th Virginia Confederate Infantry, told John to accompany him on his assignment in North Carolina as his servant, while Mrs. Talia Farrow, his slave owner, told John to flee with her to the countryside, away from the encroaching Yankee soldiers. This Friday morning, the hotel was in an absolute frenzy. Boarders were crowded in the dining room, while a rebel cavalryman started shouting, "The Yankees is in Falmouth," a city only a mile from Fredericksburg. As whites ran frantically about in the streets, gathering up their belongings to flee the city, blacks stood on the rooftops watching gleefully for Union soldiers. Hurriedly leaving their hotel, John's employers gave him a roll of banknotes, telling him to pay off the servants, close the hotel, and take the keys to a safe place. John followed these instructions diligently. But instead of catching up with his employer on his way to North Carolina, or escaping with his slave owner to the countryside, John, his cousin, and a friend fled northward 1 mile to the Union line and camped on the other side of the Rappahannock River, a river he knew well. He had fond memories of fishing in its waters and playing on its banks with other children, while his slave owner believed he was in church. And most importantly, John Washington had been baptized in that very river only 7 years before. Now, just across the river that had symbolized degrees of freedom, lay real, actual freedom, the freedom he had sought since childhood. So when a few Union soldiers yelled across, asking if John and his companions wanted to cross, they responded without hesitation. Within minutes, he and the others were free. They were safe, never to be owned by anyone again. Relying mostly upon the correspondence of ordinary individuals like John Washington, this book allows those whose voices have been largely muted to speak their truth. Though mainly enslaved until 1865, people of African descent lived complex, diverse, and yes, at times rich, but incredibly confined lives in all regions of the United States. In the years between the 1840s to the 1870s, African American letters provide a glimpse of just how complicated and diverse the Black American experience had come to be. Indeed, this diversity has too often been ignored. The letters disabuse us of imagining a one-dimensional Black experience, although they show us that African Americans did share one common element: family. Family was central to African Americans, whether enslaved or free, and sustained resistance to family separation was integral to the formation of family and community. When read closely, letters tell stories. Although the majority of Black people could not read or write until after the Civil War, we are still able to learn much about African American life from the letters that survive today.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?